This is the moment supporters of the former president Jair Bolsonaro laid siege to Brazil's democratic heart. Inspired by the January 6 riots in Washington, they took selfies, ransacked offices, and roamed the halls of Brazil's Congress, Supreme Court, and presidential offices. Stopping in the Senate chamber to sing the national anthem. Despite plans for demonstrations being discussed on social media, police seemed to be unprepared and were quickly overwhelmed. It was only when riot police arrived 2 hours later, engulfing the building in tear gas, that they were dispersed. 1,200 people have now been arrested. Draped in the Brazilian colors, these extreme Bolsonaro supporters do not accept the result of the October election, which delivered President Luis Ignacio Lula da Silva to power. They claim with no evidence that the result was fraudulent. Today, the military began clearing thousands of Bolsonaro's most hardcore supporters who have, since the election, been camped outside the military headquarters, calling on the army to stage a coup. Some still defiantly pleading for the military to join them.
Do you not understand? You're humans like me. I'm getting angry for us. Please stop being little dolls, doing this and that. Do what's right.
President Lula, who has invoked an emergency decree until the end of the month, described the rioters as vandals, fascists and fanatics. In an angry address, he blamed Bolsonaro for the chaos.
We call these people everything that's abominable in politics. They invaded the seat of government, National Congress, the Supreme Court, like real vandals, destroying what they found in front of them. We think there was a lack of security, but all those people who did this will be found.
In response, Bolsonaro, who has been holed up in Florida, close to his friend Donald Trump, tweeted that peaceful demonstrations were democratic, but the invasion of the government building was an exception to that rule. Wow, you can see the destruction here. All these computers, printers, monitors. Hi. You can also see that people are working already. They've been clearing it up, broken furniture. We are in Planalto. This is the heart of the Brazilian government. This is where the president sits. Wow. Minister of Communication Paulo Pimenta showed me some of the priceless art that was mindlessly vandalized.
What happened yesterday was a coup attempt. It was worse than what happened in the US Capitol because here the three powers of government were invaded. It is an aggression towards democracy and the federation with massive repercussions. We are seeing a fast reaction from the government to re-establish normality and to prosecute all those responsible for these crimes and those who financed this attempt against Brazil's democracy.
Today, they might have cleared out the protesters, but the truth is that 50% of this country voted for the Bolsonaro option. Now, President Luis Ignacio Lula da Silva has a massive challenge in front of him to unite back the country.
Well, our foreign affairs correspondent, Secunda Kamani, is with me now. And you were in Brazil in the build-up to the elections, where there were fears that exactly this would happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. We met Bolsonaro supporters who were very openly discussing the prospect of taking over government buildings if Bolsonaro lost the elections, because they believed his unfounded allegations of electoral fraud. And the violence could have been much, much worse. In the lead-up to Lula's inauguration on the 1st of January, police in Brasilia arrested a man for allegedly planting a bomb next to a fuel tanker, and he was allegedly hoping to cause chaos and provoke the army into taking over the country. And that's what the rioters yesterday wanted to happen too. There's video of them cheering soldiers arriving at the scene, thinking they were there to carry out a coup. In fact, many of those rioters were later arrested. And if there's one silver lining to this episode, it's that despite concerns about how some local officials may have acted in this crisis, Brazil's military, its major institutions, have shown no sign of wanting to overturn the election results and reinstall Bolsonaro in power.
And so what happens to Bolsonaro now?
Well, look, he's in Florida. He flew to the United States, not wanting to take part in the ceremony handing over power to Lula. He was earlier admitted today, in fact, to hospital for abdominal pain. But Bolsonaro's always compared to his American friend Donald Trump, and there are clear comparisons between what happened in Brasilia and what happened in Washington on January the 6th. But after the election results were announced in Brazil, Bolsonaro hasn't been quite as openly inflammatory as many feared he would be, perhaps conscious of a number of ongoing investigations into his and his family's financial dealings. He's not conceded defeat, but he's not also, for example, openly said that there was fraud. He's not. He instructed his team to take part in the transition process. So what we're seeing now is Bolsonaro having energized and radicalized a proportion of the Brazilian society that's almost gathered its own momentum. And that's a proportion of society that's not going to disappear anytime soon.
Condemning, thank you.